Caldwell, and I'm the chair of the St. Andrews School Board. And it's my privilege to welcome you to the 15th annual St. Andrews School graduation exercises. Will the graduates please stand? At this time, I invite Mrs. Donna Smiley, our principal, to present the candidates.
On behalf of the faculty of St. Andrews School, I attest that these candidates have successfully completed their course of studies and have fulfilled all the requirements for graduation. They are therefore entitled to these diplomas and all the rights and privileges that they bring. Cordell Eugene Anderson. Clark. Patrick Palmer. Weiner.
It is a great honor for me to recognize your achievement and award you with these diplomas. Congratulations, and I present the class of 2014. I now invite Molly Weiner to deliver the class of 2014 address.
Monsignor O'Neill, board members, teachers, benefactors, guests, St. Andrews students, parents, my fellow graduates and their families. I stand before you now, humbled and honored, to represent this year's graduating class of St. Andrews School. By proclaiming our hopes and dreams for the future, and by expressing our immense gratitude to you and to God for making these seem possible. We would like to thank in particular our priests for bringing Christ into our lives, both in our community and in our school. We would also like to thank our teachers, who pushed us to see our capabilities and discover our talents, and who, by teaching us to always search for the truth, led us closer toward God. I would like to make particular mention at this time to two teachers who are no longer at St. Andrews School, but who greatly influenced our class. Thank you to Mrs. Rose for breaking us out of our comfort zones, for showing us new ways of thinking, and most of all, for teaching us that learning Latin conjugations by smell is acceptable and not in any way strange. I would also like to thank personally Mrs. Randash. You ignited in me a desire to know the truth more fully, with both love and fervor. You and all of our teachers will forever serve as models of how we can live virtuous lives out in the world. As a class, we promise to strive to be as exceptional individuals as all of you are, and we can only hope to be as inspirational to others as you have been to us. Most importantly, I would like to thank the parents of my fellow graduates. It is often said that those who you're surrounded by influence who you are and who you will become. My classmates' personalities and unique gifts have in some way helped form me into who I am today. Your children have taught me things about life that I couldn't have learned anywhere else. Mrs. and Mrs. Anderson, Thank you for Cordell, who has shown me how to be intensely passionate in defending what I believe in. And you'll be happy to know that scientists have confirmed that Cordell will live forever due to his massive pencil consumption. Mr. and Mrs. Patton, Christine's betterment of the community through service work is an inspiration, and I could always count on her to help me with my art projects. Mr. and Mrs. Nisler, Stephen's intense competitive spirit encourages me to strive to be better. And I could always count on his laugh, or rather giggle, to bring me back to my kindergarten days. Mr. and Mrs. Palmer, Jack has been an example to me of how to constantly pursue and persist in finding the truth, whether it be in a deep philosophical discussion or in the everlasting and extremely important class debate on whether cheesecake is cake or if it really is pie. Mr. and Mrs. Mitchell, amid the stress of history papers, Latin days, and growing up, Jordan has been a continuous source of joy in all of our lives that we will always cherish and never forget. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Clark, for letting me spend this first part of my life journey with Sarah, my best friend, fellow One Direction fan, and turtle enthusiast. Lastly, I would like to thank my own parents, who have always held up high ideals and expectations for me. In particular, I would like to mention my mom, who has worked hard for many years for the good of all students by helping us fill out our college applications and making sure activities at St. Andrew go off without a hitch. And I can always count on my dad for sage advice. What does not kill you makes you stronger. I will be forever grateful to all of you for allowing me to spend 13 years of my life with these fun-loving, quirky, strange, but nevertheless brilliant individuals who I now consider as family. Here at St. Andrew, we have learned together and we have laughed together. And for our class, those things seem to be inseparable. But we have come to a point in our lives where we will be going our separate ways. No more will we receive daily updates from Stephen on the life of the one and only Robert Downey Jr. Nor will he have a running audio soundtrack to our lives, thanks to Jordan. For me and my fellow graduates, it is a time of change and unpredictability. We no longer have our lives perfectly mapped out and contained within these walls. Now we are to set out for the future and begin our lives. Together, we are 7 intelligent and vivacious individuals about to enter into the world, full of the wisdom and virtues which we have gained and cultivated during these past 13 years at St. Andrew. As students, we were always encouraged to aspire to be our best, both in our schoolwork and in our moral conduct. We have achieved this goal to a certain extent, but we cannot rest yet. The same goal of living for excellence should not be abandoned in the time ahead of us. But how are we to continue to pursue excellence once we leave this place and enter into the world? Our very presence here in front of you, dressed in these caps and gowns, tells us the answer. We have reached our goals. We have succeeded as students, not because of our grades or our test scores, but because we, as a class, have done one thing. We have sought the truth and have never settled for anything less. So teachers, those constant, and I'll admit often absurd questions, were our way of discovering and understanding this truth. Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati said, "To live without a steady struggle for truth, that is not living, but existing." I can proudly say that during our time here, Jack, Jordan, Stephen, Cordell, Christine, Sarah, and I, we have lived. I can humbly admit that we have excelled. For it is in this very struggle for truth that we have sought the excellent life. When you come to know our class, you will discover that each one of us has been blessed with unique interests, dreams, and desires. God has directed us on different paths of life. Stephen and Christine will be pursuing degrees in engineering, Cordell in the field of mathematics, Sarah in education and theology, Jordan in linguistics, Jack will be defending our nation as a United States Marine, and I will be studying theology and Italian at the University of Notre Dame. As you can see, all of us are called to different vocations, and this should not be denied or discouraged. For as St. Catherine of Siena says, "Be who you are meant to be, and you will set the world on fire." Not only by bravely pursuing our dreams will we change the world, but we will be continuing the mission given to us here as students by seeking the truth for ourselves. This next step of ours will not be easy, but as we know, it is during this eternal struggle for truth where we will continue to seek the excellence that you all hope for us. So my class, you are my friends and my family. Have the courage and persistence to discern and discover the truth set out for you. Promise here and now that you will not succumb to the temptation of mediocrity, but instead will forever strive for excellence. I have full confidence that you will continue to do this with the same joy you have given to me. May God bless and keep us always, now and in eternity. Thank you.
Will the graduates please stand for the charges? We founded St. Andrew's School because we believe that educated Christians can bring much good to our society. We charge each of you, as a graduate of St. Andrew's School, to seek truth, but always with love for others, to speak gracefully and with respect for others, to think critically, to live virtuously. If we have done any good for you, we ask that you do good for others as a pledge of our faith in you. Please be seated. I invite Mrs. Smiley to come forward for the presentation of a special award.
Thank you, Jill. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the fact that we have an amazing group of young people graduating today, and I would ask your permission to say something very brief, though it was hard to think of something brief to say about each one because there's so much to say, but I wanted to say something about each one first. If there were awards for the ability to direct people and organize activities, Sarah Clark would win that prize. She has been so organized, she works so well with children, and I've appreciated that this year. Cordell Anderson has completed or coached an RC Challenge, I think longer than anyone, any teacher or students in the whole school, and I think that is something. Even though he's going into math, his theological knowledge is pretty impressive. Stephen Nisler, many people here probably don't know that you get up to serve for 7 a.m. Mass, like 3 or 4 times a week. And it's pretty hard to get teenagers up for Mass, and in the morning, that early. So in every kind of weather, Stephen was there, and that's pretty impressive. Jack Palmer, your perseverance and fortitude in your physical training for your future military career is impressive to us. I know you run carrying sandbags on your shoulders for miles, and none of your teachers here could do that or will ever be able to do that. So you're pretty amazing. Jordan Mitchell, you have entertained the school with your music for many years, and your music abilities are the result of years of practice. Young students, it's practice that got Jordan there. And remember that if you're trying to learn an instrument. Jordan, you'll be missed here for that, and especially at the talent show, you know that. Molly Weiner will always be remembered here by teachers and students as one of our best student council presidents ever. She made Donna's and my job so much easier because she was so organized, and everything went off so well thanks to Molly because she was the president, and we'll miss her. So congratulations also on your acceptance today, Molly. Lastly, I have been asked today by Dan Ritter, the Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Community Service in Montana, to present a special award to and scholarship to one of our graduates. Christine Patton, will you please come forward? Given to a Montana student whose exemplary dedication to service has made a great difference in their community. Christine has gone above and beyond the St. Andrew requirements for service, and this commitment is being acknowledged today with this award and a $1,000 scholarship given from Governor Steve Bullock. So congratulations. I'd like to say a few more words. I've been the principal for 9 of your 13 years here, and I want to tell you that the school is proud of you. We're proud of your achievements, and yes, we can say that you have been successful here. But how do we judge success? As we look at your class credentials, we see that many of you have been accepted into highly selective colleges, that one of you is entering military service, that you have scored high on SATs, received awards, earned over $900,000 in scholarships. $900,000, wow, that's amazing. Although these are worthy goals to be achieved, they were actually not the main reason your parents sent you here, I'm pretty sure. Mother Teresa of Calcutta said that God has not called us to be successful, He's called us to be faithful. Your academic accomplishments do measure a great deal. They measure your fortitude and your industriousness, and these virtues will ensure that you'll be able to enter college and get a good job and donate to your futures, to our school, your alma mater. We're all for that. But what about the far distant future? Actually, as parents, we see farther into the future even than going to college next year. We're thinking about maybe the time when, heaven forbid, you'll be as old as we are. And we're thinking, will you have a good marriage? Will you have spent a good part of your life in service to the church? Will you have a good vocation? Have you been faithful to that? I mean, that is what matters, you know? Someday you'll have a job and everything, but what's past that? Are you still going to be faithful Christians? So this is what Mother Teresa meant by faithfulness, and this is our hope for you. And we think that this education has put you on the path to that. So as the years go by and we go our separate ways, let me assure you that our community will be watching you and will be care about what you're doing. We'll ask, will you be faithful? And I doubt that we'll be disappointed. I'm sure we will not be. Just lastly, before the final dismissal, I would like to take a few minutes to recognize those who have made this day possible. Tammy Hoffman and Donna Weiner for organizing the food and the luncheon. I want to thank you for that. Mark for the slideshow. Carol Anderson for the beautiful music. She does a lovely job always. Monsignor O'Neill for supporting us for so long. And every one of these graduates is one of your parishioners, so their accomplishment today has a lot to do, of course, with the church, much to do with the church. Last but not least, I would like to thank the parents of the graduates. And we have 4 people here who will no longer be St. Andrews students, parents, and it hurts my heart to say that they won't be because we'll be missing them. Kelly and Cheryl, you've been so faithful for so many years. Jordan came in kindergarten, and you have supported the school in so many ways. You supported the school and you cleaned every auction before and afterwards, and that was a silent job that you did behind the scenes, and we really appreciated that. And we have a little something that Jordan would like to give you guys if you could come up and Tom and Donna have also supported the school since their daughter arrived in kindergarten, and then they were up on the hill there in a house. As Jake and Molly grew, so did their involvement in school, to the point today where Donna's doing all the college counseling work, and actually so much more beyond that. And I can't tell you how much I've appreciated Donna's support over the years. And these students here, and all the students in the school, owe a great debt of gratitude to Donna. And Donna and Tom would please come forward.